sound, you guessed it. It's time for another My Alaskan Backyard Show. Hey. What's up? Here it is, Sunday, February 24th. Or 23rd, let's say. 24th. Yep, get the date right. So, we meet again. Here we are. It's a beautiful February, wintry, cold-ass day here on Lazy Mountain. We're up to about 4 foot of snow. It's about, I guess this morning probably about 18 degrees. It's supposed to go up a little bit more today. And we're broadcasting live from inside the cabin, up on the side of the mountain in the middle of Alaska. Well, not actually in the middle. We're in the southeast section. So, without any ado, let's get with it. Let's look at some of the headlines on Druge this morning. I thought they were kind of interesting. I might go over a few of them. Let me see if I can get the display to pop up here. There we go. There's the display. And let me see here. Whoa. Yep. What are some of the headlines? Well, the Academy at the crossroads. Who gives a fuck about those idiots? Let's see. Venezuela. Hot Maduro claims victory in standoff. This guy is inviting us to come in and massacre his army and him. He's a stupid fucker. Dumbass. Can't believe it. We send down there food for them starving kids and, you know, basic commodities like fucking toilet paper and and food to eat, and he's going to stop it at the border or whatever. What an idiot. Let's see here. What else we got going? Let's see if we can get this thing where you can see it on the screen. Let's move it over a little bit. What are some of the headlines on Druge? Well, are we on the road to civilization collapse? I doubt it very seriously. This planet's had so many civilizations arise and been destroyed over the past centuries and eons that it's just part of the cycle of life on this planet. We reach a certain point and then we destroy ourselves and start over again. Biblical locust plague set to hit Egypt. Well, and then doesn't it happen like they have hatchling emerge all at once every so many years, and that's where those plagues come from. Oh, 44 Cross divides community, prompts Supreme Court battle. Well, same bullshit as always. Atheists, because they don't believe in God, they don't want anybody else to believe in it. So fuck them. Ooh, Manafort hardened and bold criminal. Yeah, sure he is. Anybody that believes anything that the mainstream media says anymore is just fucking stupid. I mean, how many more times do you have to be lied to in order for you to wake up and realize that they're not news organizations, they're propaganda machines. That's all they are. You want to get some decent news, you know, rely on alternate media. You know, guys that don't have a fucking agenda and just go out there and film it because they want to film it, or you know, they're not out there trying to turn everything into a propaganda point for their side. Okay, I saw something interesting here earlier that we were going to go over, if I could find it again. Okay. R. Kelly spends another night in jail. Can't come up with bail. Who the fuck is R. Kelly? Let's see. Who the hell is this guy? Let's check it out. If I can get the damn link to open. There. Oh, it's from the Daily Mail. Of course. These girls invited one back to his house during his child porn trial. Okay, there's just no cure for that kind of stupidity. But they, it's a hot mess. Well, there's not really much going on here this morning, other than got the morons in Venezuela think they're gonna fucking screw with the United States and survive the confrontation. It's just it's insane. But you got to look at it from the point of the Venezuelan soldier and officer. You know, they love their country and stuff, but when you got these morons that are doing stuff like stopping humanitarian aid from reaching their starving kids and starving populace and stuff, you go, them guys got to be saying to themselves, well, you know, I know that I'll defend my home and stuff, but do I really want to support this idiot who's responsible for my nephew Juan starving to death? You know, it's like you gotta ask yourself: are they that stupid, or they're just that dumb? Who knows? Mocks Trump. Well, everyone mocks Trump because they're all scared of him. It's like Trump's the boogeyman that's always in the closet and always under their bed as they were growing up. You know, their fears. Trump represents their fears to them, and that's why they're so fixated on him. Let's see, let's see. There's not really that much on there. Well, okay. Hotness, okay. Several ugly about media porn, okay. Okay. Actor may have gotten attack plot from Lee Daniels' Instagram post, okay. Woman arrested for assaulting man wearing MAGA hat on Cape Cod. Now you gotta ask yourself, if you got your MAGA hat on and you're walking down the street minding your own business and some dumbass comes up and attacks you, are you going to let them live long enough to be arrested for it? Maybe you will. I don't know. I'd have to think long and hard about that, because my philosophy has always been, if you come after me or my family, then I have no choice but to kill you and yours. I mean, that's just self-preservation. You know, if you're a legitimate threat against me and my family's lives, then you must die, period. And that's just the way it's going to be for as long as humans walk the face of the earth. Oh, Trump's secret to victory in 2020 Hispanic voters. No, they got that all wrong. It's going to be the black voters that put Trump over the top. The independent and the black voters who have been woken up. The ones that have left the Democratic plantation, who are happy to see industry coming back to their town. They're happy to see jobs opening up. And they don't want the freaking illegal flood that's coming over the border to be taking their present or any future jobs that their neighborhoods rely on for subsistence to live. An Israeli arrests top Muslim official after holy sites unrest. Bullshit. Dolly Parton on sexual policies. I've probably hit some people myself. what is that? What kind of statement is that? I probably hit on some people. Oh, she's saying that she's probably made in her life. She's probably come on to guys herself, and it's just natural, probably. The thing is, what always got me with the feminists is, you know, they they don't want men to be men until it suits their purposes. Okay, a man sees a good-looking woman and he's not attached and stuff, and he's looking for a potential partner and mate. He's gonna hit on you. He's gonna say, he's gonna see if you're interested. And how can he tell if he doesn't walk up to you and start a conversation or compliment you or something? And if you as a woman take that as an attack on you, you're gonna wind up old and by yourself, because nowadays young men aren't the same as they were before. You guys have made them into a bunch of pussies, so that they get what rejected one time by some broad, and they're not going to try anymore. Not to say that they're going to go become celibate, or they're going to be turned into homosexuals, but they're just going to be like, hey, why bother? Why open myself up? I just got out of college. I got a good job. I'm making some nice bread. I'm lonely. I'd like to see a woman once in a while, and have a companion, someone to chat with, and have sex with as well. And every time I approach a female, they give me this same old bullshit. Well, after a few times, the guy's going to say, well, fuck it. I'm not going to try this crap anymore. I'm just going to, if I want a woman, I'm going to just save up my money and go to Vegas and find me a prostitute for the weekend. That's what's going to happen. They're I don't know, say the woman, can you call it the woman's movement? I don't know if you can actually say it's the woman's movement anymore. Is it feminism? Yeah, I don't know about that either. Can you classify it like that? All right. More radical steps needed. So, what's going to happen? Here's my prediction, people. We're going to try and move some food and shit across some of them bridges, and they're going to, I think they've already attacked one or two trucks and set them on fire, the Venezuelan military. Okay? And you know how we work. I don't know if the world really understands how we work, and I would not put it past the pre-planners and stuff in America to have already pre-positioned special force troops all over Venezuela, some inside the border, some outside the border, some close to the major centers and close to major targets. And they can be out operational for months at a time. I mean, they could be literally in Maduro's backyard, and he would never know they're there. Okay, you only got that plus with our satellite resources, our being able to track his movements and the movements of all their Venezuelan military high officials and their armor or their aircraft and everything. Every one of their tanks is already targeted. Every one of their artillery pieces, every one of their planes, every one of the opposition guys. The Venezuelan Maduro folks. They're all already targeted and just waiting for the go order. And when it happens, it's going to be a very big surprise. Some of them guys are going to be, oh, they never said I was going to blow up into little pieces and my whole city was going to be leveled. They said we're just going to make the Americans look stupid, and we would get an extra burrito for dinner. Yeah, right. We'll see what happens. I know people say, you're a racist. When you say stuff like that. Oh. No, I'm just a realist. Tonight's Oscars set for political moments. Of course, they use every opportunity. And I don't know about you folks, but I'm just getting tired of every fucking minute of every day. It's all the left's chirping about Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, nonstop. I mean, they're getting to the point where whatever credibility they had to start with, especially with these hoaxes that are being unraveling in their face every other day, you know, just what is that latest one that black homosexual on a TV show out in Chicago, which hardly anybody watches that I know of. I don't know of anybody that watches that because most people stream stuff nowadays. No, cable TV has been dead for what, 5-10 years now. It just doesn't know it. In some markets, it just doesn't know it, but it's dead, you know. So let's see here. Here we're getting off topic again. Let's go back and look at some stuff to play with. Pope compares sexual abuse to human sacrifice. Right as he's poking his 10-year-old nephew or something. You know. Now, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I was born and raised a Catholic. Okay? I went to Catholic school, high school. I went to public grade school and stuff, but I went to Catholic high school, which I paid for myself from working summers. I paid the tuition, so my parents couldn't afford it. You know, my dad was a mailman. My mother was a waitress in an inner city, old-fashioned, what do they call them things? Restaurant. Not a restaurant, but a diner, in the old-fashioned diners. So she was, you know, and I used to, when I was a rebellious teenager, you know, I'd be in Catholic high school and I'd be going to, we'd have masses, you know, like twice a day or some shit, and we had religious studies and all that stuff. And I know, you know, I always noticed that the freaking priests were always, you know, getting with some of the little girls that I liked. You know, they were banging anything that they could that was under the age of 15. You know, and it's like, I don't think it's changed. There's been so much of that. Well, you think to yourself, what happens when you have young men, most priests and stuff, they go into the priesthood at the age of like 18 or so, maybe some a little earlier, and they give up women, supposedly give up women, and most of them are homosexuals. I have to admit that they are. You know, most of the priests I've met, they weren't these asexual beings. Okay, so I think a lot of the pedophilia and stuff, I'm not kind of dismiss it, but it's institutional, structurally guaranteed when you have all these young men and old men that have been homosexuals for 20-30 years, getting a new crop of young men in the seminaries. I mean, it's just human nature. When there's no females around and a bunch of males, the males tend to find the weaker male and use them as the female. The same thing happens in prisons. You know, it's kind of like built in. We're kind of like the monkeys. You know, like the great apes and stuff. They do the same freaking thing. You know, they pop their rumps up in order not to get their ass whooped by the bigger ape. You know, that's the sad part of the reality, I guess. I just can't get over this. Mueller, 800 plus pages memo, and you know, if they had anything on Trump, if Trump had done any of that shit, you don't. That would have been, you know, he wouldn't have lasted 2 weeks. You know it, and I know it. The only reason that they've been dragging this shit on is the old shell game. You know, they're moving the shells around, distract you. Look over here, not over here. Okay, and not over here is Hillary Clinton, and the Clinton Foundation's pay-for-play schemes, the money that they raised, the pedophilia, the satanic shit, all that stuff's over here. Don't look at that. You know, look over here. Look over here. You know, he may even still be a Russian asset. One of them fucking dumb fuckers said on TV. You know, we're closer to nuclear war with the ex-Soviet Union and China now than we were the last 40 years. Okay, they keep pushing this Ma Russia shit. Go against Russia. Go against China. Go against Russia. They're our enemy. They're our enemy. And eventually, what's going to happen is someone's going to fuck up, and we're going to have 15 minutes left to live on this planet before it's one big nuclear fucking holocaust. And anybody who doesn't see the obvious, I mean, why do they want to do this? You know, and you got to ask yourself, well, why? Well, some of them think that they can survive it, and that we're getting too big of a population on this planet, and they're not able to control and rule us the way they want. We're threatening their lifestyle, their gazillionaire lifestyle. So the best thing to do is thin the herd, and that's how they're planning on doing it. And then if they can get us to thin the herd ourselves, you know, turn on each other, the easier and better it is to control us. Let's go look at some other stuff. Gab. Now, I'm on Gab as well as YouTube and stuff. And the only thing I do more on Gab, except that they are being targeted now by the mainstream media and the left. They're trying to run them out of the marketplace, and the way they're doing it is through their ability to raise funds, because all the credit card clearing agencies and all the, you know, the normal way that online you would collect revenue has been denied these guys recently, within the last 6 months or so. So they're trying to squeeze Gab out of the whole thing. And yeah, there's some right-wing extremists on here. There's some Nazis on here. There's some black nationalists on here. There's militant feminists, militant lesbians. There's all kinds of different thoughts and ideas on Gab. And the reason, you know, because they don't censor. They're a platform. They're not trying to shape opinion. They're not trying to shape the narrative. What they're trying to do is give you a place to where you can post your stuff. If you're a creator like me, I like to just make films up. You know, I really don't do a whole lot of these impromptu live sessions, live streams, because, you know, I've a very small user base, not user base, I guess you could call them a user base, a small amount of people that follow, mostly relatives who follow what I do, because I've lived so far away from them. The only way they're ever going to know what I'm up to is by going to my YouTube videos, or, you know, one of my websites where I post material. I'm a frustrated Cecil B. DeMille, so I like to go out and film things and do editing. I do a lot of editing, a lot of creative stuff with websites and that type of thing, logos and all kinds of. I do a lot of different types of media. I've been an artist since I was a little kid. I got involved in art when I was in painting and sculpture and pottery and printmaking and all that shit when I was in grade school. Because we had, where I grew up and went to school, we had just some outstanding art teachers. I mean, they were just very good on their own, and they introduced the little kids like me to things like printmaking and pottery and drawing and painting and stuff. And I know I'm rubbing my hands because my fingers are super cold. It's pretty cold in here, even though I got the heater going. You notice you don't see any breath coming out of me, any steam. The air temperatures come up a little bit. So the reason we do these things is you know, we just like to create content. So I use Gab to put some content up on as a backup site right now. I'd like to get on there full time and do stuff, but their Gab is more like Twitter. Okay, I can't really express stuff in 144 characters. I mean, that's just not enough. I mean, it's a challenge to do, and I'm kind of a frustrated writer. I like to be able to set the scene and like to set the mood in my writings, and you know, produce a hook that gets the readers interested in the content, and we'll read 1,000 words or so. But you can't do that kind of stuff on Twitter and Gab either. They have a limit of 300 characters, so you can use it to steer people to another platform you might have going, like a blog or a YouTube channel or something where you can actually put long form content up. So that's why we're up there. Another one we're at is on BitChute, which is pretty cool. My Alaskan backyard on BitChute, and I post my videos on there. And I'm starting to get into cooking videos, and I'm writing a cookbook, so eventually I'll have a lot of stuff on there. Evidently, if you're not a mainstream media person, they don't value you. You know, I've reported on the Fur Rendezvous before, he's only to the mushers, you know, and ask them a question, and you know, and talk to them, get some dialogue going. Same thing with the ice carvers that they have, and the fur auction stuff. You know, I mean, if they wanted people to really get involved in this stuff, they would allow folks like me, the alternate media type people, to get in there and actually do journalism. But they don't seem to be they don't seem to want that. They want MSNBC, the ABC, CBS, and all the all the PETA loving, dog mushing hating people. They want them to come in there and cover that instead of a local guys that could go in there and tell the story from their point of view. That's my opinion of it. So we'll let that pass. Okay. As you can see, I do a whole bunch of weird, different movies. So I won't be doing any more of that stuff for a while. I won't be covering the Fur Rendezvous this year because I'm not going to drive all the way into Anchorage. It's a 100-mile round trip just to be standing on the outside looking in again like I have been. They don't want to give me a press pass. Fuck them. That's what I say. Okay, and then I have a new YouTube channel called Red Cabin Cooking, where I make up little films of the kind of stuff that I put together for my family to eat. I do most of the cooking because I'm kind of particular on what I eat. For medical conditions, I can only eat so much animal protein. I'm not supposed to eat any at all, but I eat a little bit. Coffee, drink a lot of coffee, decaf coffee. And they say, well, what's the point of decaf coffee? It's the taste. It takes you years to acquire a taste for coffee because of the bitterness and the acidity of the stuff. But once you acquire it, it's really hard. It's harder to kick than nicotine, if you ask me. Caffeine addiction is a lot harder to kick than nicotine. I used to be a heavy smoker when I was a kid. When I say kid, in my 20s, and then I started smoking when I was 8. Where I grew up at in rural Ohio, in Kentucky area, that was it. Tobacco was king, and everybody smoked. Even little kids smoked and shit. It was like, you know, what caused me to quit smoking was when I was, let's see, an error occurred. So here I'm looking at, this is supposedly the live feed going through, and I don't see, it's got an error for some reason. Oh, it must be because I mentioned a word or something that they didn't like, and their logarithm has, they set that for normal latency. Let's go low latency, if I can get this. Let's see if we can get it to switch to a different latency. No, it's fucking screwed up. Alright. Well, I guess that ends it for that today. They've let's see, we're off there. Say let's go back here and live. Let's see if it comes up live on here. Okay, so this one says it's live. So let's go see what we get here. Alright, but the chat's not available through here. Yeah, standard license, entertainment. Alright. Okay, well, let's go. See if we can get it to pop up. Nope, it won't do it. Alrighty. So that's major suckage right there when it doesn't work right. Alright. So I guess we'll call it a day. I was gonna go do some more stuff for y'all, but if it's not getting through, there's no sense in sitting here jabbering away. My software's reporting at green. I'm in the green. That that I'm still live. I'm not dropping frames or nothing. But when I go there and look at it, it's having problems. Let's see here. Nope. It won't work. Okay. Something is definitely not working. Yep. Alright, let's just get rid of that. Alright folks, well that's about all for the day. I could go into a lot of other things I'd like to rant about, but we'll have to wait and see what the week brings. I know there'll be more attacks, false attacks against the president. They've got it in their head that the only way they can get power again is to turn us all into a bunch of little communists, and they need to get rid of, they're going to try and get rid of President Trump. They keep trying and trying and trying, and This coup's been going on for 2 years. Maybe the military ought to get involved and arrest all those Democratic coup members that are in the FBI and the CIA and the other alphabet agencies. I think the military ought to step up and arrest these assholes, build the fucking border wall before we have another super big incident. Oh, and by the way, if you guys noticed that the Las Vegas shootings now they're not investigating anymore, and from what I understand, most of the witnesses have died off one way or another. So we're in a critical area right now, and I think within the next 4 or 5 months we're either going to wind up in a full-blown civil war, or we're going to wind up in a nuclear war. And when you're sitting there in that rubble, just remember that it's the Democratic Party that puts you there. Okay? You had the opportunity to get rid of those communist bastards, and you let them stay in office. You elected them. So most of you live on the left coast or the right coast. You live on the eastern seaboard or the western seaboard. You don't live in the middle America. The rest of America despises you and what you've done to this country. So take that to your grave with you while you're down there talking to Satan, before he sticks that fork up your ass. You let him know that you were a true blue Democrat. All right, that's about it. We're going to listen to the Flight of the Valkyries to get out of here, and then I'll go about my business in the rest of the day, and you go about yours. So again, thank you to the NSA for archiving this stuff for my great-grandchildren. I'm happy to give you material to archive for them so that someday, if there's any people left, they can look at this stuff and say, well, we knew it was coming, people warned us, but with our own stupidity, we let it happen. So, adieu. Let's get out of here. Just show links to let you know where to find more. If you enjoy this stuff, which you probably don't, but if you do, subscribe. We're looking to get past the 11 subscribers up to 12. So we need one more subscriber to hit a dozen. Then we'll think we've accomplished something, just like some of the other big names in the world. Okay, bye.